Professional news organizations across the country are focusing more on hyperlocal news coverage. For a long time, communities have been asking for better coverage in their own neighborhoods, and now media outlets like the Bay Citizen are giving it to them. Managing editor Steve Fainaru explains.
We're trying to get into communities in a meaningful way so that we can provide local coverage that's missing because of layoffs, because of staffing problems, because of financing problems.
The editors at The Citizen are developing this community news coverage by hiring hyperlocal bloggers, working with freelance journalists, developing professional news partnerships with other organizations like the New York Times, as well as taking on partnerships with university journalism programs like Berkeley and hopefully Stanford. Community editor Queena discusses this model.
The sort of first iteration of our partnerships was to find local media organizations that are actually doing sort of real reporting in their communities. Now, it doesn't mean that the stories have to be written like, in a standard traditional format, but, and some of them are more bloggy, but they're all, they actually call people, they, get quotes, they do interviews.
These sentiments reflect the goals of the Peninsula Press and our partnerships with Bay Area news organizations, providing more coverage for more cities in the Bay Area. These partnerships, however, are by no means seamless.
We alerted the Times that we were getting ready to come in with the story. It was on a Saturday, and because of sort of like the evolving nature of our partnership, the Times ended up basically beating us on our own story. They ended up putting up the story before we did, and it was just another instance where we're trying to kind of figure out how these partnerships work.
One of the main goals of the Bay Citizen is to provide more in-depth investigative journalism to Bay Area residents by partnering with local independent journalists like Michelle Elson, who edits the islandofalameda.com.
There was a huge development project that they're trying to build a naval base out in Alameda. It was just a complete debacle that ultimately revolved around this very controversial city manager, Anne-Marie Gallant. And so what we did was we partnered with Michelle, with Zusha Ellenson is our development and environment reporter. And Michelle is the Island of Alameda. So we combined their two expertise to do sort of a joint mini investigation into how the development unraveled. And so we produced this piece that ran in the New York Times on Sunday. It ran in the Bay Citizen, and it ran concurrently in the island of Alameda. And so that's sort of that's a place where we want to be going more frequently. We want to be doing more of that because it's just another way for us to be providing investigative reporting in communities.
In the end, what do hyperlocal networks and big-time partnerships amount to?
We're an evolving entity. We're still kind of honestly trying to figure out what we are, but if I had to describe at core like what we do well, it's that for all the sort of issues that I'm describing around these partnerships, we're able to leverage them into more stories, better stories. It gets us into different places.
This podcast was produced by Whitney Mountain
and Alexandra Wexler
for the Stanford Graduate Program in Journalism.